Testing. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode number 47 of the Everything NYJ podcast. I am your host, Liam, and we have a very special guest, the one, the only, Mr. Jake Asman. Jake, how you doing, my friend?
Liam, great to be on the show. Thank you for having me. And I wish it was under better circumstances with our starting quarterback, but I
Mm.
appreciate you having me on the show. Thanks so much for the kind words.
Oh yeah, we're definitely get we're gonna get into that, and we're gonna get into much more Jets content. But before we do so, I just wanted to mention that you could follow us on social media, on all social media platforms at Everything NYJ. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps us out. Subscribe to the channel. That really helps us out. It brings wonderful guests like Jake on. And Jake, before we get into this, where can we find you on social media?
It's just my name at Jake Asman is where you can find me. YouTube, Jake Asman, Instagram, Twitter, just my name.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right. So, first things first, how did you become a Jets fan?
How did I become a Jets fan? Well, my dad wanted to torture me, so he basically forced Jet fandom onto me. I became a Jet fan through my dad. My dad was a season ticket holder at Shea Stadium with my grandpa. My dad's favorite player growing up was Joe Namath. So, yeah, like being a Jet fan was like in the family history growing up. Like I could always remember, even when I was like really, really young, my dad sitting on the couch watching the team on Sunday, screaming and yelling about whatever happened. So, I was basically born into it. I didn't really have a choice. Thankfully, my dad was not really a big baseball fan. Otherwise, I probably would have been a Mets fan as well. I'm a Yankee fan, so I at least have seen one of my teams win a championship, right? So I at
Oh
least
yeah.
have that. But I know there's a lot of people from Long Island that are usually, Jets, Mets, Islanders. I'm an Islander fan, but baseball, I'm the Yankees. Football, I'm the Jets.
Yeah, I was born into it just like you, but like luckily my dad, his one saving grace, he made me a Ranger fan, so that's like the one little glimpse of hope I have every year.
Yeah, the Rangers have been good. You haven't seen a
Yeah,
championship yet, but I mean, this
no,
past year was a
I'm
phenomenal
close.
year. You saw them in the Cup, with Lundqvist. So yeah, being a Ranger fan has been pretty good for the teams that have not won in New York in a long time.
That's the only thing I really have going for me these days. But so I understand you're from Texas, correct? Or
So
you're in Texas now?
yeah, so I live and work in Houston. I grew up obviously on Long Island. I'm just here for work. I work for the ESPN affiliate down here. I work for ESPN Houston and do the afternoon show on the station.
Right, right. So you being a Jets fan down there, what is it like? I'm sure like you don't really interact with many other Jets fans. It's a lot different from Long Island. My co-host Gino, he's from St. Louis, and he can name probably six Jets fans in all of like Missouri. Me, like I drive down the Long Island Expressway, and everybody has like a Jet sticker and this and that. I'm in the supermarket, you have the shirts and hoodies and everything else. So
Sure.
what is it like down there for you?
It's interesting. There's actually a lot of people from New York that live in Houston. A lot of transplants. Houston's like the fourth biggest city, I believe, in the
Yep.
U.S. A lot of people from the Northeast down here. So you have different fan bases. A lot of Giant fans, a lot of Yankee fans, a lot of Met fans. Like if you ever watched the Yankees when they play the Astros and the Mets when they were here this
Mhm.
year, a lot of fans for the Yankees and Mets that go to the game. So when the Texans played the Jets last year, we actually had a huge Jet tailgate at NRG Stadium, and there's a fan club, Houston Jet fans, where every
Right.
Sunday there's a bar where we all kind of gather and we watch the Jets together and commiserate all the losses, all the pain, right? So, there's not a ton of Jet fans. Like obviously you're in Texas, you're in Houston. It's mostly Texans and Cowboys fans, but there's more than you think, which is pretty cool. When I moved down here, learning that there actually was, a bar every Sunday where you could go and watch the game with your fellow Jet fans.
That is pretty cool, actually. That's really cool because there's every bar every Sunday. It has like the Jet Giants and Bills games on. Like, there's just always a bunch of like New York sports going on. This one bar I go to, it's like, whoever's winning is like who they put like on the big screen TV. So like, you can imagine like the Jets and Giants both haven't been on that TV screen in a long time.
It's been a
But
while.
we have our little corner. Somebody brings in a cowbell, and they ring the cowbell every touchdown. It's pretty cool. But so how did you get into content creating? And we actually had Earl Marks on a few weeks ago, and he'd spoken very highly about you, that you guys have gone back in the past. So what has that been like?
Yeah, so I grew up as someone who wanted to go into sports. I quickly realized I was never going to be a professional athlete. Right, I'm 5'8" and not athletic, so there that kind of went out the window there. But I grew up listening to WFAN in New York and ESPN New
Yeah.
York, Mike and the Mad Dog. I mean, that was my show, the Michael K show. I still listen to this day. Love Michael Kay and Don LaGreca and Peter Rosenberg and what they have built. So, I just grew up listening to sports talk, and I always was interested in the broadcasters. I wasn't sure if I was going to go down the play by play route or talk show hosting, but I just kind of fell in love with sports media. And I was really lucky. I'm from Syosset on Long Island. Syosset High School
Okay.
had a radio station. So I had the opportunity as a ninth grader to quote unquote host my own radio show, and kind of fell in love with radio then and there. And I wasn't sure if it was going to be play by play, talk show hosting, both, something completely different. But I always knew I wanted to do something on air, something in sports media. And, I was lucky enough to get a chance to get started at a kind of at an earlier age than most. Then I went to college and studied broadcasting. So I've kind of been on that path for a while, and I'm lucky to be where I'm at now.
Oh, absolutely, man. You've come such a long way. Like you're one of the top guys on YouTube, arguably. And I seriously mean that. I've been listening to you for years, man. Honestly,
Well, thank you,
after
man. I
I
appreciate
listen to your rants after the games, like when you're getting all mad, and like it gets me mad because like I'm already mad and somebody's yelling, I want to yell.
that. Yeah,
It's just
I want wins, man. You know
yeah,
it better than anyone, Liam. Like this fan base deserves a winning season. This fan base deserves, the season not to be over by the end of September. It's frustrating. Like the Jet fan is incredible. The Jet fan is passionate. The Jet fan deserves a meaningful football. And it's a joke that the Jets had the longest playoff drought in the NFL. It's a joke that they had the worst record in the NFL since 2016. It's like, we're tired of it. We want to win. We support this team
yeah,
as well as any fan base in the sport, and we're not given anything for that. So, I try to be a voice for the fan on the show. So I appreciate you saying that.
right, right. I mean, and I seriously, I'm not just because I'm a Jets fan, but I think that the Jets fans are the most loyal fan base in all of NFL, probably all of sports, really. I mean,
Yeah. Honestly,
we're
look at New
definitely
York.
top five in sports.
Yeah, 100% agree with you. I mean, whether it's the Jets, or if you want to, like, how loyal is the Met fan? How loyal is the Knick fan? I mean, forget it. But the Knicks have been a bigger disaster than the Jets the last 20 years, and the Gardens
Yeah,
are sold out every night. Knick fan, because the Knicks are the uniter in New York. Because let's be real, there's like 10% of New Yorkers that care about the Nets. 90%, maybe even higher. Everyone's united with the Knicks. With the Jets, is you got the Jets and the Giants. The Yankees, you got the Mets. It's like with basketball, everyone's loyal to the Knicks, but I agree with you. I think the Jet fan is on that level. They're as passionate, as loyal as any fan base in all sports.
absolutely. What's going on, Vinny and the Jets? Thank you for that. So on a little bit more of a positive note, what is your favorite memory at MetLife Stadium, at like going to a game or maybe a practice that you've been to? Do you have like one favorite memory that sticks out to you
Man,
being
it's a
there
great,
live?
yeah, it's a great question. Favorite memory. Growing up on Long Island, I was lucky enough to go to Hofstra to see training camp, and those were always
Yep.
really fun times. So I don't know if there's one in particular that stood out, but just like the whole experience of, like, the Jets belong on Long Island. They're Long Island's team at heart. I really wish they didn't play at MetLife. They played in Queens. They played on Long Island, or they were able to build that West Side Stadium years ago. But
Yeah.
that's a side note. I'm a huge fan, though, of those memories growing up. The Hofstra, I actually came up on my time hop the other day when the Jets were on Hard Knocks, the infamous training camp practice where they were eating the cheeseburgers on the field that prompted the Rex Ryan snack speech. I was there. Like,
I
I
was
was
there. I
sitting
was
there.
there too.
Yeah. So you remember, like, you could see them on the field eating the cheeseburgers.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's like a random memory that I have from a practice. As far as games, I've been to some cool games over the years, but it'd be tough just to pick one. I mean, for me, the win against the Patriots, week 2, 2010, they beat the Pats
Okay.
at home. That was the first win the Jets ever had at MetLife Stadium, and I was there. They were 0-1 the previous week. They lost to the Ravens on Monday Night Football. They played awful, a lot of pressure week 2 at home, and they beat Belichick and Brady. And that kind of sent a message like, hey, not the same old Jets. This team is different with Rex. So to be there, that's like my favorite game that I've been at in person. My favorite game of all time is the playoff win over the Patriots, obviously,
Yeah.
in 2010. But you asked me game I've been at. I always go back to that game, week 2, 2010 against New England.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I mean, I've been to plenty of great games as well, but like, even like that practice at Hofstra, I was in the back. I was like 10 years old. I was like in the back the whole time, just like hanging out like with the cheerleaders and everything. I don't know what I was thinking, but it was a great time though, man. So you being a content creator, do you have like a specific Jets topic that you like look forward to like, covering the most, whether it be like the draft or like free agency? Like, do you have like one that you prefer to to cover? Obviously, winning games is the big one, but like outside of that, like, do you have like a specific?
Yeah, I haven't been able to cover that much. I've only been doing the Jet content stuff for about a year and a half, and it really, I would say this is like year two of like doing a video every day, reacting to what's going on. My favorite topics to talk about, like when Zach Wilson plays well, like those are really fun videos to do, or talking about him taking a leap and talk. Like really, the offseason was fun from the standpoint of like you felt good about I still feel good about this team, even with the the injury stuff today with Zach. I still feel like this roster is vastly improved and they're headed in the right direction. So talking about the team doing well and not the team being bad or doing dumb things or losing games they shouldn't. Like I hate that stuff. I understand people want that and you got to do it as if you're covering a team, but like as a fan, I prefer the stuff when we talk about the good signings, the good draft picks, the great plays by the quarterback. That's my favorite type of stuff to do on YouTube.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with you 100%. Nobody likes to sit here. I mean, like, I don't know if you want to consider myself a content creator, but like I make like Jets videos. I hate like the negative. Like, I don't want to sit here and yell into a screen at nobody because I'm angry at my favorite sports team. Like, I don't enjoy it. But it's like I'm a passion, and Gino, he's the more calm one between me and him. Like I'm more the hothead. Like, he has to, hey, calm down, calm down. I'm like, no, like like I live on Long Island. I see these people every day. It's like we're all pissed off. Like we're all pissed off Jets fans. But now that we get to, we learned a little bit about you, your background, and everything. In your opinion, what is the current state of the New York Jets right now?
I mean, it's frustrating. I think if you're a Jet fan, you're frustrated right now because not because Joe Flacco's playing week one. I think we all expected that. You're
Yes.
frustrated because you were led to believe Zach Wilson was coming back week two. When they said he could possibly play, and not they, when this head coach, Robert Saleh, said
Yeah.
on Monday he could possibly play Sunday, you're thinking, well, worst case, he's back week two then. Because if he could
Yep.
possibly play week one, another full week of practice, he's back week two. So to basically be lied to that he's now not coming back till October 2nd in week four at the earliest against the Steelers, I think the state of the fan base is frustration over that. Now, I ranted and raved about this earlier on my channel. I say all that to say this, Liam. If they win on Sunday, no one's going to care because this fan base is
Right.
in desperate need for a win. In the worst way, this team needs to win week one. I don't know how they do it necessarily. I don't know if it's realistic to expect them to win, but they better be in the game in the fourth quarter because Zach Wilson was not playing in this game, no matter what Robert Saleh said on Monday. I never bought it. I always thought it was going to be Joe Flacco. So
Yes,
find a way to
I
win
agree.
this game, and we'll worry about the Browns in week two with the chance to get the 2-0. But like the fan base is pissed off, they're frustrated. And at the same time, MetLife on Sunday is going to be loud, and the Jets are going to get an opportunity here at home against a Ravens team that's probably going to overlook them to have a chance to win this game.
I agree 100%. Do you think Lamar plays Sunday, or what do you think's going on with his contract issues?
I think he plays, but I don't think he has a new deal. So it's going to be, a fascinating storyline. One thing no one's talking about the Ravens, they didn't play any of their starters, including Lamar, in the preseason. They got a new defensive coordinator. They got a lot of guys coming off injury. J.K. Dobbins is not playing. Lamar's accidentally spilt the beans on that today. So
Yeah.
the idea that the Jets are just going to get mollywomped here, that's not acceptable. They got to go out there at home on September 11th with the fan base being as loud as ever, and they got to compete in this game. They're a 7-point underdog, but they should cover that number and be in the game in the fourth quarter.
Are you going to be at the game, or?
Unfortunately, I will not be. I'll be watching from the Houston Jet fan bar here.
Okay. It's Gino's first game. He's coming up from St. Louis to his first home game. It's going to be for his 30th birthday. I will be there too. I'm super excited for that. It's my first home opener, so I'm super excited for that. But
That's awesome.
no,
I hope they win for
like
you.
with the yeah, with the whole coaching staff, I agree because this is not the first time that we've seen this from Robert Saleh. Like we saw it all last year with Mekhi Becton, and then even this year. Oh, Mekhi Becton's probably not going to miss like all, the entire season, and then lo and behold, Mekhi Becton's out for the whole season. And Robert Saleh, he calls it optimism, but I don't know what his plan was to like. I don't understand how you go from week one to week four. Like I agree with you. I thought he's going to start week two against the Browns. That's honestly what I thought. I don't understand like where this 3 week gap. Where does that come in? He said there was no setbacks, and you might even want to say that possibly he was trying to stump maybe Harbaugh, but he announced it on Wednesday. It's not like he announced it like Saturday night, Sunday morning. Oh, by the way, Zach Wilson's not playing. Like, is it to sell tickets? Like, I just don't understand the point of he blatantly lied to us. That's what it is. He blatantly lied to us. How this got drastically worse, I just don't get it, man. I don't understand it one bit.
I'm with you, and I think part of it maybe could be Zach Wilson suffered a setback, and they don't want to say it. I
Right.
mean, how do we go from a 2 to 4 week injury timeline to he could possibly play on Sunday to now? Well, he's not going to play until week 4. It just doesn't
Four.
add up. So
No.
something happened, and the idea that they were able to do gamesmanship on the Ravens, like John Harbaugh is not able to fall asleep at night, not knowing if it's going to be Zach Wilson or Joe Flacco. Like it's just stupid.
Right.
It's really, don't pee on our leg and tell us it's raining, as one of my astute listeners wrote in the comment box earlier today on YouTube.
Right, absolutely. It's just well, what's going on, Sean and Buffalo Jet? Thank you for being here tonight. Appreciate that. But I just don't understand it, man. I don't get it one bit. I don't understand it at all. But so in your opinion, what is your opinion on the coaching staff as a whole? Joe Douglas, Robert Saleh, Ulbrich, LaFleur. Like, what is your thoughts on the coaching staff?
Yeah, I mean, I question all of it right now. I mean, I like Mike LaFleur as an OC, but I mean, he's still got a lot to prove this year. There's no doubt. I feel better about him than I do Jeff Ulbrich. But to be fair to Ulbrich, he didn't have players last year, so I'm not going to judge until I see what this defense looks like now with the horses they have. I mean, they have 7 new starters, you could argue, on defense if
Yep.
you count
Yep.
Carl Lawson and LaMarcus Joyner, who were starters but then got hurt and didn't play in week 1 a year ago. So between Sauce and DJ Reed and Jordan Whitehead and Quan Alexander, like this team's got talent.
It
They should
does.
be pretty good. They should be pretty good. So I'm expecting a big leap from the defense. And offensively, look, I like Michael LaFleur. He's got weapons now. He's got better offensive linemen. Let's see it. And as far as this head coach, look, it's a big year for Robert Saleh. Everyone wants to talk about Zach Wilson. I get it. He's the quarterback. I spend a lot of time on my show. Liam, you spend a lot of time on your show talking about Zach Wilson. He's the second pick in the draft. This is a proven year for Robert Saleh as well. He's not a lock to come back next year if this team wins 4 or 5 games this year. He shouldn't be. I'd like to remind every Jet fan, the last 4 coaches in New York didn't make it to a third year. All right, Adam Gase with the Jets, Ben McAdoo, Pat Shurmur, and Joe Judge. You don't always get a third year no matter what. If this team flounders after winning 4 games last year and they only win 5 or 6 this year, I don't know if it's a lock. Saleh's back. God forbid they win 4 games again. He's gone. So it's a proven
Yeah.
year for Robert Saleh. They got to win games.
Yeah, not only that, it's like all of his like stupid catchphrases, like all gas, no brakes, and 60%. That's great, but go out there and prove it, because he's starting to almost sound like a used car salesman. Like he speaks a very good game, but like the product on the field just does not translate to what he's saying, and it's just. So, do you think Robert Saleh has more pressure on him, or does Zach Wilson have more pressure on him this year?
Uh, uh I would say it's still Zach Wilson just because he is the
Yeah.
quarterback, second overall. But there's a lot of pressure on Robert Saleh. This team can't be god awful. No one's making excuses for Robert Saleh like they did this past year with the lack of talent, first year coach. They got to be competitive. They got to win some games this year. They got to. The GM says they're going to be playing meaningful games into December. Show me. Let's go.
Yeah, yeah, play those meaningful games. The one good break that the Jets do have is the season does get a lot easier as the season goes on, so that should help. But if they start, like if they drop a loss to the Ravens, and if they drop a loss to the Bengals and the Packers, if they have a rough start to their season and then they start beating up on like these like meaningless, almost like the Adam Gaze, like they started off like 1-7, and if you start beating up on like the Jags and like Jacksonville, like all these other teams, the Lions, the Bears, is it really going to mean anything? Like, my biggest fear is going into the third year not knowing what Zach Wilson is, because even like with Sam Darnold, we saw the flashes, and we're seeing flashes of Zach Wilson, but can he be that good quarterback? Can he do it consistently? Is the real question.
It's a big year for him. I like
Yeah.
Zach Wilson. I want to root for him. He seems like a likable dude. Seems like a guy that works hard. Seems like he can handle playing in New York, but uh, he's got to be better than he was last year. He played well down the stretch. Give him credit. I think he'll take a step when he's back, but I got real questions about his durability now as well. It went from last year he missed 4 games. Now Liam, he's out at least the first 3 games this year. Do we have confidence in Zach Wilson being healthy for the final 14 games of the season this year when he's back? I mean, I hope he's healthy, but I got questions about his durability now. I think it's a concern if you're a Jet fan.
And it kind of proves that like we do need to pay a veteran backup quarterback because like I don't know, I kind of have a funny feeling that this is going to be Flacco's last year. I don't see him coming back next year. I don't really even see him playing next year. You know, he's going to be 38 years old by that point. But yeah, like this is the reason why we can't move on from Mike White. This is the reason why we can't that we had to go. See, the whole thing with Joe Flacco really pissed me off because we had him in the building, we let him walk, and then we give up draft capital. Yes, it was a sixth or seventh round pick, but we had to give up something to bring him back here. So it doesn't make any sense. But yeah, this is the reason why. It's because Zach he hasn't proved that he could stay healthy. Like freak injuries happen, I get it, but it's the second year in a row he missed significant time in college due to injuries.
Right.
So I don't know. Like next year we might be signing another veteran backup quarterback,
Well,
and
they
it's
should
going to
have a
cost us
veteran
more.
backup anyway, because like to me, it was a joke that they didn't have Flacco on the team a year ago. He should have been the backup,
Right.
or someone of his stature should have been the backup. You could argue Zach maybe shouldn't have started the year last year with how badly he struggled. But once you played him right away, like it was no going back. At that point, you got to let him take his lumps, take his growing
Yeah.
pains. I'm with you though, Liam. Like Flacco should have been on this team a year ago. I think as far as like the Jets on Sunday and the Jets the first three games, you're not finding a better backup quarterback than Joe Flacco. Like other than
No.
maybe Gardner Minshew, I think Joe Flacco is probably the best backup quarterback in the league. Tyler Huntley on the Ravens is pretty good, but you could argue whether or not Flacco's the guy. So I mean, look, we all want to see Zach play, but as far as like Flacco being competent, I think as we saw last year in his one start against Miami, I think he's capable enough to give the Jets a chance to compete in this game on Sunday and through the first three games of the year.
Absolutely. And this is, what Sean Bennett is saying. This is a real big question that's going all over Jets Twitter and everything. What if Joe does ball out? What if he gives us a 2-1? Do we start Zach in game four? I personally think you do because we need to know what Zach Wilson is going into the next year.
I agree with you, Liam. I mean, what is Joe balling out? If he's throwing 400 yards a game and three touchdowns, I think they would stay with him at that point. Like, if the Jets are 2-1 and he's been okay, he's been solid, I think they go back to Zach Wilson. And I don't really think there's that much of a debate. If Zach's healthy, he's got to play. That's what Robert Saleh has said. We need to, as you said, evaluate what Zach is. So I'm with you. If they're 3-0, do I think they go back to Zach? It depends on a lot of scenarios at that point. How did they get to the 3 wins? Was Flacco the reason why?
Right.
Like, I just think let's worry about that if it happens. I hope they're 3-0. I hope Flacco's amazing and it's a
Yeah,
legitimate conversation. This team has not won a game in September in 4 years. They have not won a
I
divisional
know.
game in 3. They have the worst record in football since 2016. I welcome the Jets being 3-0 without Zach Wilson and figuring out what they want to do then.
Yeah, yeah. What a great problem that would be to have. Oh my God, we have these great quarterbacks. Which one do we pick?
Oh, we're
But
winning games. Our season's relevant into October for the first time in years. Like, God forbid that problem happens.
yeah, yeah. Imagine this. Imagine we don't know who the best uh, quarterback prospect is going into October. Like, wouldn't that be something? It's just, oh man. So, um, what are your thoughts on the rookies? Do you have a favorite rookie? This rookie draft class? Garrett Wilson and JJ, Clemens, Sauce. Like, what are your thoughts on these guys?
I'm excited. I think like every Jet fan, you want to see it on the field, but how could you not have been impressed by everything you read about Sauce Gardner this summer? I mean,
Yeah,
in 24 pass attempts this year, pass coverage snaps, they didn't even throw to him in the preseason at once. Like, that's unheard of. They didn't even bother to test him. It's the preseason. So I'm excited to see Sauce. I think Brees Hall's got a legitimate chance to be a offensive rookie of the year candidate for this team, the way they're going to use him, his versatility as a receiver out of the backfield. So I'm really excited about him. Look, Garrett Wilson, I think, is kind of flying under the radar because he was kind of like the middle pick of the first round, but like he's a top 10 pick on a receiver. He's good. He's going to make plays. I'm excited to watch him. Michael Clemens getting a lot of hype right now. So there's a lot of excitement with this class. These guys are going to be relied on to help this team win games this year. I think that's exciting if you're a Jet fan.
do you have one specific rookie that's like your favorite out of this class so far, or
Man,
I mean, I
I
know it's
love
early.
yeah, I love the Brees Hall pick when they made it, but I guess I'm biased now towards Sauce because they sent me
Yes.
his sauce from Buffalo Wild Wings, which I had, and so
How
I'm
was it?
all in on Sauce Gardner. I can't wait to watch him.
How was his sauce?
Sauce was
I haven't tried it
excellent.
yet.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
sauce is excellent. It's I highly recommend every Jet fan give it a shot at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Well, actually, me and Gino were thinking about when he comes down that we were gonna go there and do like a little reaction video. So it's nice to kind of know like what I'm getting myself into. At least it doesn't taste like dog crap.
Yeah, no, it's actually very good. I mean, look, I mean, I don't think Sauce Gardner would put his name on something that stunk, but it's very
Right,
good.
right,
It's
right.
high quality sauce.
Um, it doesn't like not necessarily a rookie, but do you have a favorite player on the Jets this year? Like, which player are you most excited to see?
I, Elijah Moore would probably top my list. I think he's a star. I've been high on Elijah Moore from the second they made that pick, Liam. So I think he has a
I am
chance to
too.
be a legit number one in this offense. He has great chemistry with Flacco, which I think is exciting. If you're a Jeff fan, Elijah Moore's best game came with Joe Flacco at quarterback last year. So I'm excited. I can't wait to see what Elijah Moore could do. I think he's a guy that really could take this offense to another level if he's as good as I think he's going to be.
Oh, I agree 100%. He's easily my favorite player on this team too. But which side of the ball will the Jets be most improved on? Because they were dead last in defense last year. Their offense was god awful. Which side of the ball do you think they're going to be most improved?
I'm going to say the defense, and I'll tell you why. Because like the offense, I think was 26, which is not great. It needs to be better, but it's not the worst. The defense was historically bad last year. I mean, they allowed a 50 burger like back to back weeks. It was embarrassing. And you have a defensive minded head coach. That crap can't happen. So I'm going to say the defense because look at the starters they added to this defense that were not on the team a year ago. Like you look at the Jets depth chart on defense. I mean, Carl Lawson was not here a year ago because he didn't play because he was hurt. Jermaine Johnson, Michael Clemens added to this defense. You add Jacob Martin and add to this defense. He wasn't here a year ago. Solomon Thomas wasn't here a year ago. Quincy Williams is now here for an entire year. CJ Mosley, I think, has help next to him with Quan, who wasn't here last year. DJ Reed and Sauce Gardner are now your starters. Your backups were guys that started for you in Eccles and Bryce Hall last year. Lamarcus Joyner got hurt in week one. He doesn't count. And Jordan Whitehead's really good. It might be the most underrated move they made in the offseason. So I'm going to say the defense because I basically outlined all the newness that has been added to that unit.
Yes. So who do you think will be the best player on offense and the best player on defense if you had to pick one on each side of the ball? And even I guess special teams I guess we could really leave
Braxton
out.
Berrios.
On special teams, yes.
uh, okay, offensively, I'll say Elijah Moore. And then defensively, defensively, I'm gonna go Carl Lawson. I'm gonna buy the hype on the return of Carl Lawson being that preeminent edge rusher they've been missing since John Abraham.
Right, right, right. Um, so who do you think will win team MVP?
I'm gonna go Elijah Moore.
Yeah, Elijah Moore. That's a fair answer. Um, so I guess we'll get ready to wrap things up here. So what are you most excited about this season? Like obviously the wins that we're all hoping that we're gonna get, but is there something besides that that you're really just looking forward to seeing?
Hopefully, young players developing, right? Because this team's not a Super Bowl team. Hell, they're probably not a playoff team if we're being honest. But next year should be. If this year on this 3-year rebuild that Salah's talked about goes the way it's going, next year we should have a quarterback in place, weapons around them that are growing together, another offseason, another draft. Let's go. Right. So I'm excited to see as a Jet fan, tangible young players that are getting better. This is a coaching thing as well as the year goes on. So you feel like this rebuild with the ending of it is in sight and the arrows pointed up at the end of the year.
Absolutely. And what does the arrow pointing up look like necessarily?
I mean,
Is
I
it
think it's
wins?
yeah, I think wins is a big part of it. I mean, 7 wins, I'd say minimum. Zach Wilson looking like a franchise quarterback by the end of the year. God willing, he's healthy. Seeing some real progress from Garrett Wilson down the stretch, the same way we saw from Elijah Moore last year. Seeing a big step from some of these year 2 players like Michael Carter, both of them. Elijah Moore, obviously, Laken Tomlinson on that offensive line. Like these young players they brought in being a core, a foundational building block, right? Like they got nothing basically from 2020 besides Bryce Hall. Becton's not on this team. He's hurt. Denzel Mims is probably inactive on Sunday. I don't know how long he's going to be on this team. So you really didn't get much from 2020 besides Bryce Hall, who's a nice backup corner at this stage of this rebuild. So like 2021 and this year's 2022 class, those guys playing well, giving you hope for the future, that to me is a sign of a successful year for the Jets.
Oh, I agree 100%. All right, so before we let you go, one last question. Record predictions. What are
Mm.
they?
I've said 7-10, so I'm going to stick to it. I'd love to be wrong. I hope it's 10-7. Hell, I hope it's 20-0 with a Super Bowl championship. But I think the schedule
That's
being
what I'm
what it
talking about.
is, yeah, exactly right. Some uncertainty at quarterback now with Zach. I do think this team is going to be vastly improved. I don't think they're going to start 0-7 like some clown on social media said today. I think this team's going to be competitive. Wouldn't shock me if they won 8 games. Wouldn't shock me if they went 9-8. I'm going to say 7-10 though.
Definitely
That's
having
the
that.
absolute, yeah, the absolute floor. I think they got to be at.
All right. Before we let you go, one last one, I promise. Are they winning on Sunday? Do you think they're beating the Ravens or
They're beating the Ravens.
yes?
They're beating the
Beating the
Ravens. Why
Ravens.
not?
Absolutely. Got to put it out into the universe, man.
Gotta manifest it, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Look,
Yep.
I think it's a close game. I definitely think they cover. I'll pick the Jets because I'll be a homer. Why not? I'm a Jet fan on this show. I'll say the
Right.
Jets win. Jets win 27-24.
See, yeah, I think it's going to be a high-scoring game as well. A lot of people are saying a low-scoring game. I think it's going to be back and forth on the offensive line, on offense, really.
I can see it. Totally.
And I think defense is going to play a huge part too. The defense really needs to step up this game. But Jake, it has been a pleasure. Thank you for coming on, man. I'm definitely looking forward to doing this again. I'd love to have you on maybe like halfway through the season or something, just get your thoughts on how the season's going, and we'll go from there.
Liam, thank you for having me. Appreciate you guys. And sorry that Gino couldn't make it tonight, but next time.
It's all right. Yep, yep, definitely, man. So before we let you go, where can we follow you on social media again for all of you who don't know?
Just my name, Jake Asman on Twitter, Instagram, and if you're a Jet fan, Jake Asman on YouTube.
Perfect, perfect. Yeah, definitely go subscribe to him. Thank you guys as always. Follow us on all social media platforms at Everything NYJ. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. Thank you guys for all the comments and the views. We all appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. We love having you here. Jet up, baby. Talk to you guys later.